anybody is really, really watching.
We're live.
Good.
Hi, everybody.
Everybody, all of one of you or whoever's out there, we appreciate it. We're Dapper Daddies. I'm Gary.
I'm John. How are you?
Today's episode is
Too old for this shit.
we're too old for this. Yeah, I don't know if the cussing thing. I've heard different things about it. Can
That
do
they
things
said
to
it
you,
doesn't
but-
matter.
All right, well, fuck
Yeah,
it.
as long as you don't. So watch the video on cussing for like live streams and stuff. As long as you, that's why you hear people cussing now. All of a sudden, is they said it's fine as long as it's not like that Limp Bizkit song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
And if you don't know who Limp Bizkit is, you're probably not watching this anyway.
good point.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just can't cuss a lot, but we can cuss a little bit. So.
All right. So I had ChatGPT run a long list of things that people typically stop giving a crap about after the age of 40. We're going to go through those. We'd love your comments. If it's still important to you, we'll let you know if it's still important to us. Or if you absolutely couldn't agree more, we'll go down that route. So
Right.
I figure I'll just read off what it says here and then get your 2 cents and then I'll add mine. How's that sound?
Sounds like a plan.
All right, cool. All right. So the first one is staying out past 10 p.m.
Well, I try not to. Well, I'm a musician, so like I have spent my whole life waking up at noon and going and playing a gig until 3 a.m, and then going home and sleep until noon again. And I've done that a lot in my life. And so, like when I was younger, I enjoyed sleeping in and staying out really late. And it is amazing to me how I didn't think that would ever change.
Yeah.
I thought I would, just because of the habits I had started when I was very young. But yeah, it does. I don't really. We go out and do karaoke, and I'm done by 11. Of course, a lot of it now has to do with my injuries and stuff like that. I can't, after my accident, I just can't sit for more than 30 minutes to an hour without being in incredible pain. So I usually have to get up and walk around. So I usually end up, like before this accident happened, I didn't mind staying out, but I still, even before then, I was like, yeah, we can, there's Dapper Dilly. There's our Dapper Dilly. But anyway, so I like staying out, but lately, no, not past, you're right, not past 10.
Yeah. I just, I don't mind staying out past 10 if there's like a concert and it's going late or something like
Sure.
that. But yeah, it's not my goal, and I definitely love my bed. So
Now, how many times, like when we're out at a concert or doing karaoke or at a game or whatever, do you ever look at your watch going, it's getting a little late?
yeah, it's got to really be compelling. I was always the guy, like, you stay from whistle to whistle,
Yeah.
at a sporting event. But if my team is getting demolished,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm fine to leave at halftime and get to bed.
Well, even even nowadays with the seats, we went to that. I got free tickets to that game the other night, and the seats were fine if you're sitting kind of with one in between or whatever. But man, we had somebody come and sit next to us that is as big as we are. They had seats like for days next to them, but they didn't have any awareness about that. Sits in the seat. So Gary and I are literally sitting like this in these seats, and we just went, no, this isn't even fun, So yeah, it is just one of those things as we get older. So
Yeah, that was before 10 p.m. though.
yeah, that was way before 10 p.m. for sure. That one was way before 10
Yeah, but yeah, I get what you're saying. The crowded places. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
one of the categories here, but
Sure.
I definitely don't miss that. I guess that kind of leads to the next one, and that's FOMO, the fear of missing out. Do you
Yeah.
still have those moments where you're all like, "Oh man, I wish I was there"?
what was it you said earlier? The
JOMO, the joy of missing out.
joy of missing out.
Yeah.
That's
It's JOMO.
That's more my gig. I'm gonna pull this down just a little bit. That's more my gig. The joy of missing out is always nice. I don't know how many times we've had plans and then we get a call that it's been canceled, and I literally secretly, quietly go,
Yeah.
So it's like I don't really have that anymore. And honestly, I don't know if I ever had that. Well, yeah, maybe when I was younger I did, but I think I've just forgotten about it. After 40, you just kind of, like, meh.
I don't know. I mean, to me, the FOMO thing depends on what it is, because I know that I have FOMO every once in a while. It's not because I didn't go to a party with a bunch of people or go to a club with a bunch of people or whatever that is, a dinner with a bunch of people. Like, that's not usually what I'm FOMO about. That's JOMO when I can get out of that stuff.
Yeah.
But if it's like a playoff sporting event,
or a
right?
concert,
or vacations, like my brothers right now, I have two brothers and they're both in Cleveland because one's a Browns fan and one's a Patriots fan. So they went to go to the game together. So I got a little FOMO. That'd be cool to hang out with my brothers and go to a football game and stuff like that. So I think it happens every once in a while, but I think it really is the context. It has to be there. Like, what is that thing?
Like if I miss a concert, if I find out I missed a concert that I was kind of looking forward to. You get busy and then all of a sudden you see all your friends are at that how many times have you had that where you're like, I really want to go to this concert, and you either don't have the money or you forget about it and you don't revisit it. And then you get on Facebook and see all your friends posting videos at that concert. And you're like, that's kind of one. Yeah, that's kind of one because I really do like going and seeing live music.
Well, let's actually, I'm going to go one step farther from that. What happens to the two of us, but his brain injury and me just being old and just ADD boy, what happens most times is that we had every intention to go to that concert and then forgot. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh my God, that's right now, or that was yesterday.
Yeah.
So a lot of that regret.
Sometimes that happens. Yeah. I mean, I try to stay on top of it, especially if you buy tickets, or I get free tickets through VetTix a lot and stuff like that. So it just depends. But hello, Dapper Dilly. So yeah, I think the fear of missing out, I think it is. I don't think it happens quite as much, but it definitely does happen every once in a while.
Yeah,
for sure.
All right, the next one's going to make us really old. Loud bars and clubs. Thoughts?
They never used to bother me, and it's one of those things. They don't like when I go to karaoke, it doesn't bother me too much, but if somebody gets really loud singing or they have just zero there's a microphone thing that you have, and as you sing louder, you're supposed to pull the mic away from your mouth. And it's the guys that grab the tip of the whole tip of the mic and start wanting to do screamo or something. So the mic starts feeding back. They're super loud. That fucking bothers me like crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, loud bars. I don't know if I've been to a nightclub in a really long.
Well, we do go to a place called Monkey Pants in Tempe, Arizona for karaoke, and it's right next to the university, the largest university in the United States of America, Arizona State University.
Yeah.
And it can get crowded.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and it's not a great big place. So it can get really loud. And to your point about like people who grab the mic and scream, there are a lot of people, and some of them are even good singers, but they think to really be impactful or to get the crowd in with them, they have to yell.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you have a microphone in front of you. You don't need that.
Yeah.
Now, in regards to just the general noise in the bar, I'm not typically like upset by that, but there have been times where it's excessively loud, like they have the music up way too loud and you can't hear the person next to you. So I guess that, and you got a point on that, but let me say one last thing. So that can be annoying, which I don't know if I ever got annoyed by that in the past, but that brings me to another point, is like trying to read the menus in a dark place, but we're over that one. But anyway, so with the noise thing, like it definitely can get grating.
Yeah. It doesn't. So if you're going to, it's again, context, right? So if you're going to a bar and to go do karaoke and stuff, you expect that it's going to get loud and there's going to be some obnoxious. And I actually don't mind the crowded. I like people, so the crowd never did bother me. I feel old because they're all 22-year-old, 18 to 20-year-old, 22-year-old girls half dressed, so Gary and I are kind of like two dirty old men looking at them because we're men. But it's just, but you feel old. You're like, man, can you imagine being 20 again or 30 again? It's just, crazy.
We say that all the time. Like, oh man, if I was only 25 again. I remember what I was like at 25. I didn't have a shot in hell at any of those girls back then either. You probably did.
I did.
But I didn't. So I don't look at it and say like, oh, I wish I was. Because then I would just be the young nerd that they ignore as opposed to the old creepy nerd that they ignore.
Yeah,
so,
maybe.
Yeah.
I was lucky. So I didn't have a lot of problems with women when I was younger. I was very lucky and handsome and didn't turn out to age very well. But, when I was young, I was a model and stuff like that. So I never really did. But I was very lucky that way. But, so if you go back to so if you're going to a place where you understand that's going to be loud, where I get a little bit annoyed is when you go out to eat, even at a sports bar, and they have the games on really loud or they have music on loud or whatever. And you're going to a place to eat. And you expect to be able to talk with people. That does annoy me. But I think that annoys everybody when you go to an actual restaurant or a sports bar.
Well, I think sports bar and restaurant are different.
Well,
a sports bar, you've got 80 guys who are there to cheer on the Packers or whatever it is.
Right. Well, no, that doesn't bother me because it's just, they're going to get rowdy when they have good plays and stuff. That doesn't bother me because they're not rowdy all the time. What gets me is when they have the music on really loud at a place like that and you can't talk to anybody because the music's on really loud in a place like that, or they have the game on so loud you can't even talk to anybody. But that's just the old man in me.
Hey, we got a question in TikTok here.
All right, cool.
What's the best advice you have for a new guy out in the scene? Now, my question for you is this. Are you like an old fart like us getting out in the scene and it's been a while?
No, I think good point.
Or are you just a new guy who's finally of age and wanting to go out and see the world and hit clubs for the first time legally? And I say legally because we know you snuck in.
So, let's go ahead and hit both. I think I'm assuming that it's a young man asking two old guys, hey man, how do you, I'm trying to get out there and trying to, I personally, I was lucky. So I was a good looking guy. So I really didn't have to try as hard as a lot of people did when I was young. But you know what, there's a few things from wisdom from an old man to, I'm thinking, a younger man. Confidence, walk into the place like you own it. I had a compliment from a kid the other day at Monkey Pants for doing karaoke, and I used to host the karaoke there, and so I'm very comfortable with that place. So I walk around like I own it. And this kid actually came up and said, man, do you own this place? And I'm like, no. And he goes, man, you walk around like you own this place. He goes, that's and so that, and I told him, I said that you should always walk around every place like that. Walk around like you own that place. You want that confidence, stand up straight, and don't be cocky. Don't be like, I'm the best looking dude in here, but walk in like you, all right, here's a good example. I play drums and sometimes I am unconfident in other situations. And Gary had a good thing and a really good thing to say about it. He said, where do you feel most confident and comfortable? And I do behind a guitar or a drum set. So what I did is I took that confidence. So whatever it is you do, if you're a motocross rider or a great, drifter in cars, whatever it is you do, take that bravado and think about that bravado. That's what I do when I walk into a place. It's like, I'm the best singer and drummer and guitar player that I know. And so I walk in with that, just knowing I have that confidence. So confidence is a big one. What would you say?
Confidence is important, but respectful confidence You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, not cockiness.
yeah. He said not cockiness already, but like, I have heard firsthand from women of all ages, and I've read and seen things that the one thing that bums ladies out, and again, you know what? I don't even know if your question is about like dating. You're talking about new on the scene, but if it's in regards to the opposite sex or even the same sex, if you're not straight, the thing I hear is that people don't have the confidence to just go up and introduce themselves and have a conversation and say, hey, you know what, can I buy you that drink, like they used to in the past, right? And you hear it all the time, and you look at beautiful men and beautiful women who, you know, are like, hey, nobody ever approaches me. Mm-hmm. Nobody ever approaches me. So have the confidence to do that respectfully, of course, not with the cheesy pickup lines, although sometimes that's a good icebreaker. Yeah. Depending on what it is. I saw one the other day that was so funny. I told you this one, but one of the best pickup lines I ever heard was a guy goes up to a lady in a bar and he said, I was going to ask you if I could buy you a drink, but then I looked in a mirror. So can I buy you 3 drinks? So that kind of thing, you know, exactly. Self-deprecating humor and that kind of thing.
Absolutely. Honestly, I heard from a gal once, because, you know, it is hard, because I was married 19 years and then all of a sudden I get divorced and I'm single. And so I'm like, how do I go? And, you know, after that long a time, how do I go up to a woman and say hi? So I've actually asked a few here and there that I know and friends, that kind of thing. And they say that just go up and say hi. Say, hey, hi, my name is John. What's your name? And a lot of times that works because you're not going up, like you said, you're respectful. You go up and say, hey, how you doing? And if they say, I'm not interested, then that's a big one for young people. So one thing that I really struggled with, because I had an ego. Everybody has an ego. The one thing that you struggle against, especially now, because everybody's recording you, is walking up to a woman and asking her out, because rejection sucks, right?
Yeah.
Rejection's the worst. But you just got to realize that's just the game, man. That's how you got to do it. One thing that sucks now is that sometimes you get recorded doing that. We didn't have to go through that. So I don't know if I understand. Seriously, I mean, that's like
recorded being injected.
That's it. There's kids don't dance at clubs because they're afraid of being recorded.
Huh.
I've heard that. Yeah, I've seen videos where they're like, kids these days, they'll go to clubs and stuff and meander, but they won't dance because they know they're going to be recorded. They won't go. I've heard young men say they won't go up and ask a woman out because they're being recorded. So if they get rejected, they're being recorded being rejected. We didn't have to deal with that. So that's a tough thing to deal with. So I don't have any advice on that. But one thing I can say is, even if you are going to be recorded, it goes away. You know, you're not going to be, even if they put it on the internet, big friggin' deal, right? You have to get enough self-esteem that you don't care what they say or think. And I'll be honest with you, women, they can sense that, right? If you go up and you have some trepidation about going up and asking her out and all that, they can sense that, man. They're like mountain lions. You know, they can sense when but if you walk up and you're confident, just give them your name or whatever, or like that funny pickup line. Hey, if you get rejected, you get rejected. Big deal. You know, not everybody. And that's one thing you have to realize. I've realized as an older person is they aren't rejected. People are attracted to what they're attracted to. So if they turn you down, it may be that they're gay. It may be that they have issues right now or stuff going on in their life, and they can't have somebody in their life. And obviously a stranger isn't going to tell you that. So there may be a million reasons why she says no to you. So don't get caught up in that. Don't get caught up in the rejection thing. I know it's hard because it sucks to be rejected, but realize that people don't always reject you because they're rejecting you. 90% of the time, they're rejecting you because of what's going on with them in their lives. And that's how that kind of goes. Right, Gary?
Yes, and it could be that they're not into you.
Or they're not.
It
into you.
absolutely could be that, but that's fine.
Absolutely.
And if you're respectful about it, most human beings are
Will
going
be
to be
respectful
respectful back.
And if
right?
they're not, they weren't a good human
oh,
being.
screw that person.
And you don't want to be around them anyway.
You know, another tip I heard is if you want to get somebody's attention in a crowded room or a bar
Take your
or whatever,
clothes off.
no. Well, that will work.
Well, it works,
but you'll probably
actually.
get arrested.
It works, but it's not the attention you want.
Yeah, especially if it's cold out.
Yeah.
But the tip that they gave is when you know how you're in a bar or what is
Just
the
the
tip
tip.
they gave? Yes, okay.
Just
That
the
was
tip.
good. That was
Just
good.
the tip.
It took me a minute. But when you're scanning the room as you do, you catch people's eyes. If it's something you're interested in, don't do what you do 98% of the time. I do it. John does it. Every human does it. When you're looking around and you catch a stranger's eyes, you don't want to be inappropriate, so you automatically look away or down or whatever.
Yeah.
They said if it's somebody that interests you, try to keep eye contact for 5 to 10 seconds. You don't want to get creepy. You don't want to stare, but you want to let them know, hi, I noticed you.
Yeah.
And then that will often, if they keep your gaze for that same period of time, absolutely you should have the conviction to go and introduce yourself. You can start to feel that.
Yeah, because most women, especially I've been kind of, I don't know why a lot of this has been coming up on my feed, but one thing that women will say is date and ask them out, but that's one of the clues that they'll do is they will, who do we got on? That's your friend, Trillion 42. Who's that?
I don't know. Not that we should mask. Oh, hi, Wendy.
Hi,
That's
Wendy.
my friend Wendy. I took her
hi,
to
Wendy.
prom. I've known her since I was 14. And she was my kid's teacher, long story short. But she's got a great story, interesting story, relatable story, how life is going after 50. We're going to get her on the podcast one of these days, right, Wendy? Yes. Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. So she's saying it's sometimes thinking. Let me read this comment because I got to
John's
get
just.
not that I just can't see. Not that we should mask, but it sometimes does help to create a correct character or personality or persona. Sometimes thinking that way helps her get a level of abstraction for doing things that we might think is scary. That's a really good idea.
Say that again. I'm not sure what you said.
So basically she's saying that sometimes you want to put on a mask or a persona or a character because she's like, wasn't she in your like acting and all that
Yes.
stuff? So that makes sense. Getting a character together and actually having a character. You know, here's a good example. I'm a big fan of the Colorado Buffaloes. Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, is a guy that he created Prime. He created that persona. In person, he's an extremely personal, private guy. But he created this persona to make money and get out there. And because of his profession, he had to create that persona because he knew he wasn't that guy. He knew that Deion Sanders could never go out and be prime time, right? So I think what Wendy is saying, do that. You have to get your person. You have to create that personality. Yeah. So when you go talk to people, it's easier because you have that persona kind of built up. Does that make sense? I think that's what
it does. No,
Wendy,
I get it. Yeah. I guess I never thought about that, but I do kind of agree with it in that, and it could. I dated somebody recently who I had known for a few, and I would talk to them, and I always felt like I was being flirted with this person,
right.
But I didn't get it reciprocated, so I always, and it was appropriate. I wasn't at all like being misogynistic,
right.
But it was pretty clear I liked her, and I would talk to her. It was, it was the tall person.
Sure, yeah.
Anyway, so I would flirt with them, and then after about 2 years, we were at a party, a swim party. I was leaving, and they said goodbye, and they kissed me on the lips. Goodbye. And the whole drive home, I was like, I can't believe that person just kissed me. I can't believe that person just kissed me. And then we ended up dating. And then when I talked to her after, dating for a couple of months, I said, I got to tell you, I did not think you gave a crap about me and I was your type at all. Like, what changed your mind? And she goes, well, I knew you for a couple of years. And what I picked up on personally is that you were a player who thought you could get anybody in the room and you were just looking for women to pick up and throw away and pick up and throw away. And Wendy, you could probably attest to this, but that's not the kind of human being that I am.
You're not at all that.
No, I'm not. I've been married twice because I'm about commitment and stuff like that.
And
now,
I
obviously,
let you
divorce
guys
and
know
stuff.
that I never kiss him on the lips ever. It's just not me. I don't like kiss anybody.
Well, when he's sleeping, I might or might not kiss him. Anyway, but
separate rooms, by the way. We're roommates.
What I'm getting
Anyway.
at
No, I
is
get it.
that what I'm getting at is that I think that I unintentionally put on that mask, Wendy, because
okay.
I'm not a shy person, but I am more comfortable in front of 10,000 people than I am in front of one person that I'm truly interested in. I've always been like that. I've never been the one to go up to the girl. I've just always been like that. And so I probably learned throughout the years that unless you're confident, you're not going to get anywhere. And then I probably laid that mask on a little too thick. And now I've learned to pivot where I have confidence, but I'm also.
I use that idea to help my middle school students be able to get out of their shell in order to perform in choir musicals that we did. And then she also said, I can see that, Gary, sometimes being vulnerable is hard. It is really hard.
Good of self-esteem you have, we all feel vulnerable in those situations. It doesn't matter who you are. And that's one thing with that young gentleman. I don't know if he ever commented again, but when you're young, it's really hard. And these poor kids, they got cameras everywhere. I wouldn't want to grow up in this day and age. But Winnie, I love that you taught your kids that, especially in middle school, because middle school is really hard. You don't know who you are. You're trying to find out who you are. Everybody's mean. There's bullies everywhere. I mean, junior high is the worst. And you're coming into, it's this puberty and all that crap. Junior high is really hard. And so I love that you shell a little bit. You said you were a theater kid. I was at Boulder Dinner Theater. It was a 400-seat theater in Boulder, Colorado. Amy Adams and Jessica Biel, they did stuff there. And it was just a good theater. It was a big theater, but I auditioned when I was 12 for Sound of Music, and 12 of us made it out of 300 kids. And I did Boulder Dinner Theater in my teens, and I was the shyest kid in the world before that. My parents always say this kid I was so into my shell before I went into theater. And they said after, man, I am who I am. I'm an out there, a personality, love being on stage kind of guy. So, it does that. Teaching kids those characters and getting them involved in that will definitely help them out. But I do believe that is something that you can, kind of put out there and get that. That's a great idea when you just kind of the whole thing is that I'm a different person. You start reading those because I can't read them.
We see the live is glitchy.
It's a little weird. Sorry.
I told my students if someone says, "Hey, I saw you singing and dancing," and they could respond, "What are you talking about? It wasn't singing and dancing."
It's not the lives glitch.
It's the live.
I know.
Keep getting that. Okay.
Gary, come on, keep up with the class.
Oh, I laugh at the funny ones.
The old people are glitching. It's not the
there's
live.
a warning again.
We need to.
We don't have great internet here yet. We're hoping to get the better.
We're gonna buy a second squirrel that will run through the thing to turn the Wi-Fi wheel.
Yeah,
so we're
our
hoping.
Wi-Fi wheel squirrel's
All
dying.
right, let's get back on what we were talking about. Things we are too old for. Are you ready for this? Keeping up with a massive friend circle.
Oh yeah, I never did. You have a lot of friends. I have a huge amount of friends in Colorado that I keep up with on Facebook, but that's I don't think really keeping up with a circle of friends. I think you just have friends on Facebook, but then you have a ton of friends here. I have a good group of musician friends that I play with, but even then it's not that big. You know what I mean? There's definitely people that I see when I go out and play gigs that, you know, it's nice to see them again, but it's not like keeping up a circle of friends.
So if you've ever been married and then divorced, you know that unfortunately one thing that happens is somebody gets custody of the friends. You know what I mean? So
That happened to me. I lost all my friends.
it doesn't mean I lost all my friends, but it means some went with the ex and some stayed with me, kind of a thing, right? And then again, I've been married twice, so I kept some of those friends and I kept some of the friends from the last divorce. But what I would say is when I was dating recently, had a huge friend circle, was home maybe one night a week.
I loved it.
And just
kidding.
Frankly, I didn't always want to be out and about, but I was often, and there was some kind of party or get together or whatever function. And then since I've stopped dating to kind of fix myself, I've found that I've cut a lot of people out, and I actually kind of feel bad about it because there are a lot of great people that I love like crazy, but I'm just not. I'm not centered right now.
Yeah.
And if I tried to spread myself out, I would fall apart. And I don't think that I would be the friend that they deserve. Now, that being said, I should reach out every once in a while and say hi and not just be a freaking hermit. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm at with the big friend circle. Like, I miss people. I should do some stuff, but I definitely just am not ready yet.
And it's, well, yeah, and you've gone through a lot of life changes and things going on lately, and so that's part of it. I don't know. I don't mind being around people, but I found growing up that if you keep a large group of friends, it's okay to do, but it's just hard to, like you said, it's hard to spread yourself out. It's hard to, it's hard to be there. And it's especially now, it's financially, you can't, just time wise, it's just, and a lot of people just aren't going out anymore because it's so expensive and it's just wears on you.
Your health is also.
My health has really hindered that for sure.
All right, next one. Uncomfortable clothes for the sake of fashion.
Uncomfortable clothes for the sake. Oh yeah.
Like women who wear the spiky heels.
Yeah, or men that wear the spiky heels.
Sure.
We're not judging you, whatever.
The tight leather pants or whatever, right?
Hey, tight leather pants look great on me.
That video comes out next week. Anyway, thoughts?
Yes, they are assless pants. But yeah, you know what? I think you can actually, you can dress well but still be comfortable. Men can. I should say men can. I shouldn't generalize because I don't know what women go through, and I don't understand why they torture each other like that. But it's usually women get dressed up for women. They don't get dressed up for men. I've heard. I think both. But both for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I can't imagine wearing heels. I can't imagine wearing the stuff women. But men can. But on the other side of that is how many men actually give up looking nice for the sake of being comfortable. And I think that's a bigger question here because wearing something that you're uncomfortable in, you've done that your whole life. It's not that big a deal. I think the bigger problem is men and women for that matter that just give up after 40. They just go, you know what? I don't look good anymore, so I don't feel like I look good anymore.
I'm not trying to impress anybody.
Yeah, I'm not trying to impress anybody. So you go out in a moo-moo to, a bar or something,
Hey, if we can't talk about your leather pants, we can't talk about my moo-moo.
Ah, good point. Well, you got to dress in something. T for 10 right here. But yeah, I just, how we doing? There are more than one. I don't know what that means. I don't even know what that means.
I don't know.
Guys can look nice by putting a collared shirt on with jeans. The collar gives an added polish. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're kind of that thought, when we go out and stuff. When is this still coming through? Can somebody confirm? Can you see it? Because we're getting all these error codes, and it might be something we need to continue.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's stopped it. I just think it's trying. I think my phone's trying to pick it up because we're doing a TikTok along with this, and I think my phone is.
Maybe we should just cancel the TikTok.
No, it's fine. It's fighting with it. It'll be all
All
right.
right, we'll see.
If it ends, it will.
But as far as like the uncomfortable clothes, like you're correct. The odds of me wearing my brand new Doc Martens from the 90s that would cut holes into my heels, that is something I would have done during the Nirvana phase, but it's not something that I would do today. Luckily, they make Docs different now, and they're a much more comfortable, non-killer fashion statement. Putting multiple patches and Band-Aids and stuff on the bottom.
That's like wearing the penny loafers without socks and stuff like that we used to do in the 80s.
Yeah.
That they don't do anymore because they're smarter than we.
You couldn't make us look bad. Look at us. We're studs. I will say that as far as like the fashion thing goes, like the comfort is important. And there are ways to dress up and be comfortable, like you were saying. But what kills me is the people that don't pay attention to the matching or the colors and stuff like that. And that may sound like much, but when I see the guys go out with the black dress shoes, like dress shoes you wear to work, white socks, cargo shorts that are brown, and like a green button-up short sleeve shirt that you'd wear on your mission.
And a fedora.
And this is not an exaggeration. This is actually somebody we know.
Yeah, it's like
that's what I'm talking about. Like, pay attention to how things look.
Yeah,
but you can be comfortable. Just be cognizant.
Yeah, and it's just wearing tan shorts with black socks that you pull all the way up here, and then black shoes, and then a purple shirt with a red hat. Do you have a mirror? Do you even do you have anybody in your life that has any fashion sense? Because it's bad. It's all bad. It's bad for the environment. It's bad for the economy. Stop dressing like that, fellas. You can dress differently, I promise.
Exactly. All right, next. Here you go. Gray hair, receding hairlines.
Well, we're both very lucky with the hair. He's got the gray hair. I've got the turning gray hair. But at least we have hair. I have friends that don't, and they're like, "Screw you, dude. At least you have hair." And so, and if we really wanted to, we could always color it.
And that's what I mean. I guess the things we're over at 40. For me, the thing I'm over at 40 is dyeing my hair. I started going gray in high school. Now, it wasn't super obvious. There was a gray hair there, whatever. But when I was in my mid-20s, I had silver streaks in my temples. And by the time I was 30, I had a big strip of gray in the front. And then I was dyeing it because I looked really young for my age. I'm 55 now. I still think if I weren't all gray, that it would be hard to tell that. But when I was in my 20s, I looked like a teenager. When I was in my 30s, I looked like my 20s. But the gray, I was like, I can't go gray this quickly. So I would dye it. And then it started to get white so fast that I would have to dye it every other week. Oh, wow. And then eventually I was all like, well, guess what? You're gray from now on. And I begrudgingly stopped dyeing it because it just was too much work. But now at this point in my life, I'm all like, yeah, you're supposed to be gray. It's okay. And I get compliments on my hair. So I'm fine with it now. Luckily, I'm not losing my hair. But if I was, I would 100% just shave it all off.
Yeah, I think that men that, and I get if you're in entertainment or you're a sportscaster or whatever, even then, honestly, when they dye their hair, it doesn't look right. It doesn't, they either have to do, like if they use that kind of brownish reddish, it never really takes, right? So it looks half gray, half red, it just looks thin.
And we're not talking about the coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
That's the guy, Ryan day, black hair, black beard. You can
Oh.
see the gray coming through on the very edge.
Like
you're
mascara running
just-
down his face looks
Just like, dude, give it up. Just go gray. Women, I understand. Women, you do your thing and you want to look. I get it. Men, I think you just. I asked when I went gray. I didn't go gray till I was 50, and I still have a lot of blonde in my hair, so I'm really lucky that way. But, geez, but I've asked all my hairdresser friends when I get my hair cut, and they're like, "No, your hair looks fine. Your hair looks way better just keeping it the way it is than if you were to try to dye it." And I think I could probably use a blonde dye and be okay because I was blonde my whole life and that kind of thing, and it wouldn't be so bad. But I just still think it looks very. I know.
She just pooped right in front of me.
Right on the carpet.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's safe. Puppies.
Fun.
Puppies. Yay.
Yeah, you know what? I think that men and women should rock the gray if they're comfortable doing that, but also it's just like plastic surgery. Like if it makes you feel better, I think go ahead and do it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Even men, if it gives you, I shouldn't bust on men that dye their hair. If that's what gives you that extra persona, if that's what gets like when he was saying, get you into that character. If that's what when you look in the mirror, and that's what makes you feel better about yourself, dye away, guy. Because I'm telling you, that's why they make dye for men and women.
Yeah,
right?
my buddy Rob wants us to take a shot
of
alcohol.
I'm allergic.
I'm not. Should I take a shot? Can you get in trouble for that?
I don't think so. I don't think it's like the old days where they couldn't drink on camera.
All right, here we go, Rob.
A shot at well,
I'm gonna go get a shot. I know.
All
Just
right.
keep talking.
All right. Yeah. Unfortunately, I actually developed after my accident an allergic reaction to alcohol. My throat closes up, and I have to take Benadryl. So unfortunately, I can't have fun anymore now. Yeah, it's just one of those things. So it's probably not a bad thing. So I just don't. I can't do anymore. But Gary, at 2:00 on a Friday afternoon, apparently is going to do a shot. Oh yeah, Whitney was saying it's hard to go gray when you're like in tech or a teacher or whatever, and she is able to do different colors, like weird colors. So that's fun. At least I don't know if a lot of men could get away with that, but I love that. I love it when I see a gal with purple and pink, and I've seen them with the rainbows and stuff. I hear it costs a lot of money to do that, but it's
Okay, so my buddy just texted. Let's go, Gary. Sorry about the throat problem. So I'm gonna have some cough medicine right now. So this is to you guys and the Cardinals and the Buffs and the Broncos and the Sun Devils.
Word. I didn't know Jameson made cough medicine.
What are you talking about?
Cheers, everybody. So
Yeah, that needs a chaser.
I like when I had my accident, just pain everywhere. So my Mormon PT doctor said I should try the more medicinal side of things that are legal here in Arizona. So I take this stuff called RSO, and it's strong and it helps my pain because I'm doing this whole thing without any pain medication. I rolled the dump truck 2 years ago. I think I've told you a million times, but we're on live. So I'm just anybody who may not have known that. So anyway, was it good for you?
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Go take a swig of the pickle juice right there.
There you go. Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, that's pickle juice right there.
All right.
But anyway, so I'm doing this without pain medication. I've done it the whole thing without pain medication, and I have my neck, both shoulders, my sternum, and my tailbone, and a bunch going wrong that I have to have surgery on. So it is definitely one of those things that helps me out at night. I take it at night; it helps me sleep. So, but doing this without pain meds, that's the only way I could really do it because I wasn't sleeping, was I?
No, you don't even know. You guys don't even know. Maybe another day, John will let me share a story about the doctor taking his mask off.
Oh,
We won't get into that right now. That's
Yeah,
a
that's
whole
another
nother episode. Okay, here's one. Here's one. The importance of looking tough.
I didn't.
Letting go of the urge to stare someone down or prove you're the hardest guy in the room.
I didn't ever have that.
Oh, me either. I'm a wimp. That's for sure.
I never had. Now I do notice it. So it's funny is because I'm not, look at me, pudgy guy. Growing up, I was 6 foot tall and 135 pounds until I went in the Navy.
That was my birth weight.
And then I got, I bulked up and now I'm fat. But I ended up, I was never like a gym guy or, I never wore wife beaters or anything. I wish I could. I mean, we were watching the other day, there's like a guy our age and he's a coach for the Buffs and the dude is like in perfect shape. And I'm like, man, I wish I had the willpower for that.
Yeah.
So that was never, but you do notice it, guys walking in and having that bravado, but I do think that's a younger thing.
Neither one of us has been that guy.
No.
Now, if we had a friend or a girlfriend or whatever that we thought was being bullied or something, we stood up for them.
Sure.
For sure. And that still
But-
happens to this day. But we were never the machismo guys.
No.
But I'd like to ask you a personal question. Do you think that your tolerance level, and I know because of your accident, actually, it has affected it,
Mm-hmm.
but do you think that a person's tolerance towards disrespectful activity or being cruel to somebody, do you think that they get less tolerant of that as they're older?
Oh, for sure.
Because I know that they say Karen and Kevin and that kind of a thing. But I know that I don't stand for a lot of that kind of bull crap anymore. I don't try to be the strongest guy in the room, but I also recognize those actions and activities, and I will stand up for somebody or myself more than I might have in the past. What do you think?
You know me, I stand up for anybody anyway. I don't shy down. I'm more.
You don't start shit.
I don't start shit at all.
Yeah.
But I'm not one to shy away from ending it either, though. So that's part of my problem and that's part of the accident. The brain bleed and the brain injury I had. I never used to be somebody who got angry at all and didn't get upset. And like I've got because of my brain injury, I've got a flash thing now that I just get angry really easy. And so I'm having to recognize it and take a deep breath and walk away and realize it's just my brain injury and not me getting angry. So that's a tough one.
Yeah, I just had to adjust my sleeve because I noticed a major farmer's tan. That's what I did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. Next, what strangers think of you?
Like caring what strangers think of you?
ChatGPT is basically saying over 40, you don't give a crap what other people think of you. I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm just saying that's what it brings up.
I mean, I care less about what people think of me than I ever did. So it's definitely gotten better. But I think I think that ego comes into play every once in a while. I mean,
Yeah, right.
I mean, why would you dress up and look good and do your hair and when you go out to dinner or go out on night out in the town? I mean, there's always going to be ego involved and you're always going to care what people think a little bit. But I certainly, I would say I have an 80% reduction in caring what people think about me over when I was, say, 35, 40. What do you think?
No, yeah, I still care. I unfortunately have always cared too much about that. And one of my favorite quotes ever is, what other people think about me is none of my business. The reason that's my favorite is because it's the one that I need to hear the most. Because I still, to this day, worry about that crap too much. I worry that other people look at me in a certain way. Rob, thanks for joining, brother. Love you, man.
Later.
Love the fireside chat. Yeah. Next time we're going to have sock puppets, so make sure you turn in for that. But yeah, I still care about that, unfortunately. And I know that's kind of one of my downfalls. And I guess there's a level there. Like, you should care a little bit, which means that you act in a way that makes people feel comfortable and heard and that sort of thing. But yeah, I definitely worry about that shit too much.
Yeah, I mean, I did, man, I sure did because the thing is I growing up around theater and modeling and all that. Boy, that's what you're taught is that people like I mean, I was 12 years old walking around Boulder and I was, being recognized everywhere I went. That's a trip, So I think that just conditions you for that. Now, I do think that we had it way less than kids do now. I think kids now with the social media and everything that I don't think I would want to be a kid in these days. Would you? I don't want my
Yeah, I don't want to go through that again.
I wouldn't want it.
Yeah, I met some wonderful people like Wendy in high school, but I don't want to go through high school again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot harder now with all the technology and everything. Yeah.
The last one it says, I really like this, is what that's weird. What popped up on the screen there? We're still going though, so it's not a worry. Anyway, the last one, I really kind of dig this one, and we kind of touched on it, but what did that do?
Our live will end in 4 minutes.
Okay, yeah, we're about that anyway. It's the last question anyway.
It just wants to make sure we're not.
Make sure you're human. Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't want us to be a bot, so I had to
All
fix that.
So the last one is comfort level, yes or no to going somewhere. Meaning, had we known, like we went to the football game this weekend, had we known the seating situation was going to be such that we were going to be crammed behind two people or between two people in those smaller seats, would we have gone? Would you go to a club at the invite of somebody knowing that there's very limited seating and you'd be standing? Or you're going to a concert and it's standing room only?
Or, like there have been nights where where you're like, hey, you want to go do some karaoke or whatever? And our dog's nuts. And I've been like, I just can't do that tonight. I know what you're getting into, and it's going to be crowded. There's going to be a lot of singers. It's going to what the night is going to be like. You know what I mean? And there's been nights where I'm just like, dude, I can't get myself there. And a lot of it's my accident, but I just can't get myself there.
You have to think about that stuff. You have to think about that stuff at our age.
Yeah.
Frankly, physically, like you have a million more issues than I do, but I still have a bad back. And if I know that there's a concert and it's standing room only, and I'm going to have to, even my favorite band on the earth, if the Smiths got back together, and well, that's different. I would go and do whatever I have to do. But
Howard Jones,
I love Howard Jones. So let's say it's a Howard Jones concert, but I know that it's going to be standing room only, and I'm going to be there for 4 hours. I think I have to pass because I just don't think that my back could handle it. And I know about halfway through, I'd be up against the wall sitting down.
We've had a few football, there were a few, because I get, being a veteran, I get vet ticks. So if you're a veteran or know a veteran, have them go to vettix.org. They can send their DD-214, which is your release paper or your paper that shows that you were a veteran. And you can send that in, and they have that people donate tickets to veterans in that city. Yep. And it's everywhere. So we get a lot of free tickets to Cardinals games, to Sun Devil game concerts, all kinds of stuff. And there were a lot of times last year where we usually go to every single Sun Devils game, and we missed probably half of them last year because I couldn't do it. Right.
Yeah, I think we're about part of it. We're about out.
All right, guys. So, well, thanks so much, Wendy. We're going to do, we're going to go off, and then we're going to actually come back on. We got to do our guitar lesson today. So appreciate you guys. If you've seen that, if you want to learn how to play guitar, we're going to pop back on here in a little bit, and you can check that out now or later. So thanks so much. Appreciate you. Later.
I was going to get really mad at the dog because she peed on that rug and she pooped right there while we're sitting here.
What's this?
Wait a minute, though. Uh-oh. Is that a new one or from the same?
No, because I think it's from the same.
She got all the jelly out.
Yeah.
So she pooped there. She peed on that rug, but we closed this.
Yeah.
So you get the pee, I'll get the poop.
Oh, we're still live on TikTok.
Whatever, we're cleaning up after a dog.
Yeah. Thank you for seeing us. We're going to get back on and do our guitar lesson here in a little bit. So thanks so much for coming on. I appreciate you. It's so cool that you do that. And I don't know how to end it. So how do I end it? Hold it now. We had 337 viewers, 6 comments, and 1 like. I think a lot of people are just flipping through lives, right?
Yeah.
There's a gal named Pamela Wang that watched for 40 minutes. Your buddy Rob watched for 9 minutes.
Pamela used to work with it. Sean.
Is it Denver Broncos fan?
Do you remember Step Brothers? Where they're interviewing and the lady's name is Pam. And they're like, is it Pam or Pan?
Nah.
She goes, Pam. And they're like, so like Pan, like you cooking it. And she's like, no, Pam with an M. And he goes, I think I got this. Hold on. The P is silent, right? Anyway, that Pamela lady who used to do that, is it Pam or Pan? Hey, don't go live yet. We gotta get the guitars tuned and stuff.
No, I know. I'm just getting it set up. This show. Okay, it's fine. Tired of this shit.
You don't think she just got one?
Well, maybe she, unless she knocked it down and opened it again. I had it up on my thing. Yeah. I think it was from before. You stay out of that stuff. That's not yours. Asshole.
Oh, I think I sold those. I did sell those. We sold those Michael Kors shoes, right?